What's up, Supernatural family? Yes, words I actually didn't think I would ever actively be saying as a fan of the TV show, because as you know, it took me a while, and we are here back again. This time, we're going to go into a very supernatural special. It is the kickoff of spooky season, or we've already been doing some spooky episodes. The leaves have begun to change. The weather has turned. We just celebrated our 19th anniversary of Supernatural, or 16th birthday if you're Castiel. And man, we're here to talk some Supernatural season 10. I am Matt. With me, as always, is Lauren. And if you don't know where to find us, you just somehow stumbled here. Thanks for hanging out. Please, by all means, stick around, stay a while, and you can find us on any podcasting platform at Hops Geek News, any social media platform by the same name. Very easy, very simple. We make it nice and easy for you. And then if you would like to join our Discord, support us on Patreon, or even just want to buy us a beer at our PayPal, go ahead and go in the link. It's patreon.com/hopsgeeknews. The link tree is even in the description of the episode. Join the Discord. We have plenty of channels. We have Halloween. We have what are you watching? What are you drinking? Fitness channel, where a bunch of us are in there talking about our fitness, which is very
We have
important.
a Supernatural channel.
We even have a Supernatural channel. And typically we also do news, what we're reading or watching, what we might have messed up on last week, in a beer of the week. But we are not doing a beer of the week right now because we are recording in the middle of the day. We got to get our kids in school. I got to run, all of that good stuff. So we're going to run right into some Supernatural. That is, of course, on the other mic is Lauren. And Lauren, I just want to know, how's you doing over there?
I'm doing fantastic. This is one of my favorite seasons. I'm very excited to talk season 10. It is the middle of the day as I'm finishing up my lunch. But yes, we're going to take our time. We've been rushing a little bit with Supernatural when we're able to record because we've been double recording. But this one's so much fun. We get Demon Dean, we get a musical, we get the Mark of Cain, we get all of this stuff going on at once, and it's just so fun. And I think this is when I really started to fall in love with Dean and Cass's relationship so much, just like the push and the pull and the brotherly love and whatever else you want to call it. And we even get a fourth wall break with that little Destiel moment, which is phenomenal. So I'm very excited to talk this, and I'm drinking water with a sprinkle
Me too.
of lemon.
I got a nice
Call it
sprinkle of lemon.
Holy water, you could say.
I got some water as well. I'm growing lemons outside, and maybe I'll have to send you a lemon here soon. But yeah, so we have been rushing, and it's just because life has been busy, right? We do a lot, and then we've got all sorts of things. So we wanted to slow this one down because honestly, too, the beginning of season 10, funny you say it's when you fell in love with like Dean and Castiel's relationship, because this is really the turning point where I really like Crowley became my favorite character in the show.
Yeah, Crowley's awesome this season.
Crowley, this is the time when he, like, I was always like, okay, Crowley's kind of cool. I don't mind him, whatever. He's just kind of annoying playing the same old asshole. But this season, when it opens up, you really also seen like his relationship with Sam and Dean, excuse me, really begin to change in season 10. And it kicks off with episode 1 titled Black, where, we last left Dean, he had died.
Metatron.
They never actually die. Come on.
What is dead does not stay dead.
Yeah.
Despite what Dean said on repeat in season 2.
Never stays dead. Where this episode opens up where Dean is a demon. And he's singing karaoke. He's sleeping with the bartender in Crowley's bed. While Sam is all the while
in my bed.
Yeah, looking for him. Sam's out there like, Dean, where have you gone? Dean, where art thou, Dean? Cass has no angel mojo, baby. He's on this hunt for his mojo. And this is when we meet Cole, whose dad was a monster. He didn't actually know that, of course, so he's been training his whole life to defeat Dean because he blames Dean for the death of his father. He kidnaps Jared. Then he, of course, lets him go. Jared as Sam. There's this whole thing where he's in the barn and getting tortured. And Sam's like, dude, I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm looking for Dean and all of this. He then lets him go so he can track Dean. Meanwhile, Crowley is feeding Dean easy kills to satisfy the first blade because you have to satisfy the Mark of Cain.
You're physically ill.
Yeah, exactly. You fall ill. So he doesn't listen to Crowley, which makes Crowley very angry. But once again, this is the blossoming of their relationship. Crowley loves Dean. They're best friends for life. Best fucking friends forever, if you will. We then see Crowley looks at the picture of the two of them with cowboy hats on.
I love that. And Dean's like pointing at Crowley and he's like, ah.
I know. Oh man, it's so ridiculous. The episode ends with Cole threatening to kill Sam if Dean does not show up. Dean says, "Go ahead," but then he promises, "I will find you and I will kill you."
Yeah,
So
it's
what?
interesting because he's not demon-y enough to be a full-on demon, but he's not human enough to be a
Yeah.
human. 'Cause, demons are corrupted souls, and I feel like Dean just has still so much good in him that even being corrupted, you still can't, like, completely fight who you are.
It's like the whole Anakin Skywalker, like there's still some good in you no matter how dark side you turn.
But, well, Darth Vader
Yeah.
killed a room full of children. Dean does not do that.
Okay.
He has a couple there's 2 kills, I would say, in the show that I
Dean
very much
kills a
so don't
child
like.
straight up cold blooded, and he wasn't even a demon.
Which child?
Remember the kid who was like a like demon or whatever? He kills Dean kills that kid, or is it the mom? Whichever
Which
one he
kid?
kills. I thought he killed the
The half demon kid?
yeah.
That kid disappeared.
Oh, I
He
thought he killed a
left.
kid or like the mom or something like that. That Sam
No,
liked.
they didn't kill either. There's an episode with Amy Pond where he
Hmm.
kills the mom.
Maybe
That's
that's
my
what I'm
least favorite
thinking
episode,
of.
but he
There
doesn't
was
kill
a
the kid.
kill in a previous season that I was like, I really felt like that was out of character.
That was yeah, that was the Amy Pond one, and I hated that kill.
Ah,
That's my least favorite episode. So
okay.
that kill, and then there's another kill. Did you watch the Frankenstein episode yet? Is that this
Is that the
season?
Universal, like where they're all Universal monsters?
No, that's Monster Movie. The
Ah.
Frankenstein one is the Steins. I don't like that kill. I think that is this
Oh,
season.
yeah, yeah, the Steins, because the doctor. Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah,
I
that
do
is this
remember that
season
one.
because then they
Yes.
get the Book of the Damned. Um, that's how Dean says it when he's imitating Rowena. The Book of the Damned.
Yes.
So those 2 kills I do not like, but one of them he was under the mark of
Kane.
Cain, and
Yeah.
the other one I feel like he was too worried about Sam not being right in the head because of the Lucifer stuff that he felt he needed to do that, and I think he really regretted that kill. I don't think he regretted the other kill because he had the mark in him, and that was when he was going, like, full on dark side where, like, they had to
Right.
yeah, they had to get the mark out of him. Okay, so a couple things I really liked about this episode before we go into fun facts. Crowley, the subtle things that get mentioned in this show are so phenomenal because a lot of times you don't even pick them up or you pick them up on a second watch, so you're just like, wait, what did I just hear? So Crowley mentions an orgy that they had together. So Dean
Oh
and
my
Crowley have
god.
been in an orgy together.
Could I don't even necessarily know that that's something I would search up specifically on Pornhub, just because I don't think I wanna see I don't
Oh,
wanna
I'm sure
see
there's fan
Crowley.
fiction.
Oh, without a doubt, but I don't know that I wanna see Crowley ever naked. Like, Dean, no, that's one I'd be like, "Alright, whatever." Like, I can put up with this for the plot, but, sorry, Crowley, like, I don't know, I just feel like he gets one of those, like, he gets really sweaty and disgusting, and it's just like, "Ew."
Well, have we been in I don't know if we've gotten to the one where, he went into the mouse and escaped and then went into the woman and she went to go kill everybody, and instead they had a little, fun with the neighbors, and then he killed everybody, but he was in the body of a woman,
Yeah,
and he
no, we saw that
participated in
one.
the orgy?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that was a previous one. Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, that was a great that's another funny thing, and they're like, "So you had the orgy before you called us?"
Yeah.
So
Crowley's
Crowley
all about
likes
the
orgies.
orgies, man, alright? Like,
I just
leave
love
him
that it was subtly
alone.
mentioned, and you see the relationship after Dean's no longer a demon, and Sam even makes a comment like, "Oh, I forgot about you and Crowley's summer of love." So it's so funny. And then I love that Crowley, like when Sam calls, he's like, "Moose, took you long enough. Your brother and I were beginning to wonder if you'd hit another dog." So this shows that like not only are they having orgies together,
They're sharing some
Dean's talking about
stories.
Sam.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he's venting to him of like, he didn't even look for me when I was in purgatory. Instead, he hit a dog and shacked up with some lady. Uh
Crowley would never.
It is interesting though. At first, Sam like he assumes Crowley has a demon in Dean, and he's
Mhm.
like, "Nope, that's all him." And then I like when
Oh,
Dean gets
man.
called porn guy on the video. It's like porn guy here. All right, so you want to hit us with some fun facts?
Well, there was, oh, yes, sorry, that's right, yes, yes. So, fun facts. This is actually the first episode where Crowley becomes a series regular, funny enough. Pretty sure Lauren saw an interview where he said that made him get paid less, which is well, I guess you get paid more because they bring on like a guest star, and then in that point, like they got to pay you a little bit more to guest star, and now you're a
Like
regular.
economies of
So
scale.
yeah, you kind of get paid whatever. Another fun fact. This one's one of my favorites, is because Jared was actually injured due to wrestling with Kevin Tran backstage at a con. He dislocated his shoulder. He needed surgery. They actually pretended that a demon did it, and Cass couldn't prevent it or heal him because of his failing grace.
Like, that was convenient. I love that they
I
even threw
know.
that line in there, like, "Are you mad at me because I couldn't stop that demon from hurting your shoulder?"
There that was I mean, in a if anything, where you were to get injured, this actually makes the most sense of how you can basically, like, write it into the plot because they're hunting demons, they're always fighting, and they're always getting their ass kicked. And not only are they always getting their ass kicked, they're coming out basically unharmed, or Cass is able to heal them right away. And so to have this be like, yeah, dude, sorry, you got beat up. I couldn't do anything about it. So now you have to live with this injury. It's like, well, finally, it's one of the
But
few
he should have
times
been
you
able to
actually see
heal
that.
him, though, normally. Like, a lot of times they're
Yes.
able to get healed.
Yes. But they obviously couldn't they couldn't delay the recording beat. So yeah.
But that was good timing that Cass's mojo just happened to not be working at the moment, so he couldn't heal him.
Yeah.
Convenient.
Convenient. And then, so yeah, that's all I kind of got for this one. Do you want to take us into the next episode?
So the second episode, Dean is still a demon. I was a little upset they didn't keep him a demon longer because I thought it would be a lot of fun, but I guess the writers were concerned about his character losing that empathy and going too dark side and not being able to pull back from it. But I feel like he can pull back from anything. So this one is called Reichenbach. I just assume it's German. It sounds German. We kick off with Cole's backstory in this one, and then we get Demon Dean at a strip club, and he's being very handsy, and he's getting yelled at. Meanwhile, Hannah is with Cass, and Hannah is definitely falling for Cass. He does not feel the same way. Anybody who's watched the show fully through completely understands why. But she does help him as he even sleeps, so he clearly needs some help because angels don't sleep. So she actually asks Metatron for help, who is in Heaven's jail. And then Jared escapes from Cole because Cole let him. And then Cole follows them and fights Dean. But Dean, of course, kicks his ass in the most fun and entertaining way possible. What did you think was going to happen? I think I've said this multiple times when we were doing it. I just love it. You were going to walk up here and be like, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. And then he's like, oh, you know Kung Fu? It's like he just, because this guy, obviously, he's not a bad guy in the show, but I didn't love his character. He just seemed like one of those little, like guys that thinks they're so tough and is kind of a dick.
Oh
And so
yeah.
that was the energy I was getting from him. And obviously, I love, Dean. I'm going to be prejudiced to him, even when he's Soldier Boy. But I just, watching him so easily kick his ass, which he could have done even if he wasn't a demon, was just so much fun. He's like, I know everything. And he's like, well, then come on. It was so fun. Okay. But then Sam jumps in with some holy water and he gets Dean into the handcuffs and everything with the help of Crowley. And then Sam leaves the first blade with Crowley and Dean is angrily in Baby and Baby is a mess. And he says, it's just
Yes.
a car, Sam.
Ooh, that's how you know it isn't Dean in his right mind, man.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh God, it's not just a car, especially the way you always. Yeah, it's disappointing. But I will also say that I really like this because you're right. It's very much a one-sided fight, and I hated that dude. I mean, I get it, Cole. Your dad died. Whatever. You've been holding on to this grudge. Blah. Like I get
You
it,
need to
but
let it go.
like at the
Move on
same
with your life.
time, yeah, he deserved it in a way. Like, I sucks your dad died, but you also deserve to get your ass whooped in the way that he did. And I really enjoyed that Dean just like one-sided fight because they should never have made that fight remotely close, and I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah. Random fun fact. The guy who's the actor in this, who I don't think he's allowed to go to supernatural cons anymore. I think something happened, but I'm not sure.
Oof.
But he was in the documentary about Kevin Spacey. So he was one of the actors that Kevin Spacey was, yeah, interesting.
Ooh.
He seemed very, though, in his interview, is very different than a lot of the other guys. Josh watched it. And so I was like
I haven't
watching it a
seen
little
it
bit and I was like,
myself,
I
so
can't watch this anymore.
right.
But some of the guys, it was really hard to talk, but he I guess found it a little entertaining. He didn't seem like he walked away traumatized, or a lot of them walked away traumatized. But as soon as he showed up, I'm like, hey, that's cool. That's the only thing I know him from.
Yikes. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him actually in anything else, and I think there's a good reason it comes out. So
Yeah.
yikes.
So some
Well,
actual fun facts, though.
yeah, let's get into some real fun facts that are a little bit more upbeat, such as the song being played on the piano by Dean is Hey Jude from the Beatles. This is the song his mom used to sing to him as a lullaby. Lauren feels as though that this is further evidence he's not fully demonic.
Like, why would you
And
play a song that your mother used to sing to you to make you feel better if you were a
also,
demon? That's
like,
not a very demony thing to do.
yeah, I also feel like if you're, a demon, you're not picking Hey Jude to play. I don't know, something about the Beatles
Yeah.
doesn't scream
It's more like
demonic
Highway
to
to
me at
Hell.
all either. So yeah, I agree with that one. And as far as the title, Supernatural Wiki actually believes the episode title Reichenbach may be a reference to Reichenbach Falls, the series of waterfalls in Switzerland where Sherlock Holmes and his nemesis Professor Moriarty originally met their ends in the short story The Final Problem. Holmes was, of course, brought back to life after fan outrage. In this episode, Cole confronts his nemesis Dean. Sorry, Cole,
Could
there is
argue.
no return for you, and you are certainly no Moriarty, my friend.
Well, you could argue Dean was brought back to life. Cole comes back.
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right. I guess I kind of blanked him out because I didn't care about his
I
character.
was say I thought you had seen that one. Yeah. So one of the things I have seen, if anybody's seen the outtakes, all the outtakes are great. If you are a fan of the show, if you're listening to this, you must be a fan of the show. It's worth going and seeing the bloopers. And so there's a part where Jared, Dean or Jensen's tied to the chair, and Jared goes, "Hey, so why were you chasing me with a hammer?" After they did that whole scene, and Jensen goes, "Because I was trying to nail you." And then he looks at the camera and winks. And I'm sure anybody who's Googled like supernatural gifts and you see the demon Dean winking, that's an outtake from that.
I love that. That's so good. Yeah, no, this episode was good. There's really not much to take away from this one other than Cole gets his ass beat, deservedly so. And so we're going to go into episode 3, Soul Survivor, because I'm a survivor. Now we're going to emphasize soul, Soul, as Dean's soul, the fight for Dean's soul or Gotham City soul, depending on if you're talking to Joker or not. But it's essentially saved. He is cured via the old Men of Letters trick truck that they had started but never finished working on. Meanwhile, a rogue angel tries to kill Hannah and Cass because they killed her angel boyfriend. Love triangles. They were failing, and then Crowley shows up, saves Cass by slitting the angel's throat, taking the grace, giving it to Cass. He claims it so Cass can help Dean become human again and stop causing him trouble, because while it's all fun and games that Dean is his ride or die demon friend, Demon Dean's a bit of an asshole, and Crowley's about had enough of his crap. And so from there, he's
disrespecting him.
Yeah, that's true. The
Can't have that
friendship,
when you're the king of hell.
you're supposed to be bros, man. And Dean hasn't been acting like a very good bro at that point. And he also loves Cass too. And as Dean is trying to kill Sam because he escapes the demon cuffs and trap that was causing him to turn back into a human, Cass shows up, grabs him. They make him human again. And he still has the mark, man. Mark ain't go nowhere. We end this episode with a quick glimpse of Rowena relaxing and 2 dead people on the ceiling. This is the first entry into her, right? Yes.
Yep, that's the first time we see Rowena, which is so crazy when people like say, "Oh, I stopped watching in season 8." You didn't even meet Rowena, and like she's huge the next 5 seasons.
She really is. I didn't like her actually. A little bit of a spoiler, but not too much. Is I actually don't like Rowena until season 12. So, but I do enjoy her now. But initially, I didn't like her. Something about her overacting and her accent really. And like I guess
that's a real accent. I've seen it.
I know it's her real accent, but I guess the overacting, the dress, the way she was always in like this fancy dress that like, man, you ain't out here like that's so uncomfortable. So witches want to be comfortable, but nonetheless, it was petty complaints. She had to grow on me as most characters do. And so when I first saw her, I was like, oh, it's finally Rowena, because I knew kind of who she was, but not who she was. And Lauren's like, oh, you finally met her. Yay. That's what we got on this episode. Because I, of course, at times will obviously be like, hey, this is where I'm at. Click. But what are some fun facts we got?
So yeah, I guess Dean was actually a demon for 3 episodes. I was thinking it was 2. So the episode's title is the final track in the Rolling Stones double album, Exile on Main Street. This episode was actually directed by Jensen. Jared Padalecki joked on Twitter that during the scene where Sam slaps Dean's face to wake him up, Jared purposely messed the scene up to be able to slap the director, who was Jensen that day. Jensen backed him up, saying it took a few takes to figure out what Jared was doing. Mark Shepard's real life son, Max, plays a demon in this. It's when he's sitting on his little throne. And this is the 3rd episode in the season, but it was filmed first so that Jensen Ackles could prep for directing the episode without the stress of acting, and they could get that done first.
That's actually clever, because was this like his first time acting? Or acting, Jesus, directing?
I no, I don't think it was his first time. There's a couple he's directed, and I know there's one in 15 that I really like that he directs.
Yeah, but that's 15's after 10. Get together.
No, I know, but here,
No.
I'll Google it. Why don't you
I
tell
know.
us?
Well, it is cool. I always like to see when that happens. Um, but yeah, no, this episode overall was pretty solid because we do get Dean and he's in that room that they start to use where they're gonna start torturing all of the people in the Men Are Letters room there that I call their torture room.
They're like the chains in our dungeon, and
I
Casper's
know
like,
it's the
"You're
Men Are
what?"
Letters room, man. It's yeah, they got their own
Uh,
torture room, but it's also a storage room. I don't know.
Jensen directed 6 Supernatural episodes. I think the first one was Weekend at Bobby's, and that
Oh,
was the one
okay.
that was a really cool one where they focused mainly on, Jim Beaver.
Yeah. So you didn't really Jensen didn't really have to do a lot of acting in that one, which
Right.
understandable.
This
It's
one he
probably
did, though.
yeah, this one he did, and I thought it was great too. Again, this is like the 4 of them, their relationships, I think, is what I love the most about this show is Cass, Crowley, Sam, Dean, like how much growing everybody kind of does is one of the like say what you will about each season of Supernatural, some may be better than others. However, the character development and growth is really good. They really do it well, and they characters do grow on you. So I
Yeah,
do start to enjoy like Crowley likes Cass. They're enemies, but they're not enemies at the same
the
time.
frenemies.
Yeah, it's the whole like they're gonna try to backstab and kill each other at times, but at the end of the day, like they would help each other out. And so
Yeah. When
and
I
they
like
both
he's like, "I
love
know
Sam
you're
and
5
Dean.
miles from the Winchester's clubhouse." It's like,
Yeah. That's
they
that's
both
what I
have
got for
a yeah, they both love them. They both wanna be part of the family.
yeah, they both have that mutual love of Sam and Dean. So of course they're gonna do whatever it takes to help them, even if it means setting aside hell and heaven problems, if you will. But what is the next episode?
Paper Moon, every time I hear Paper Moon, I wanna sing that song. You're
Wow.
only a yeah,
Yeah.
my mom used to always play that. Okay. So Kate the werewolf is back. So it seems there are wolf attacks going on, but it turns out it's actually Kate's sister. Her sister was dying, so she saved her by biting her. If anybody doesn't remember Kate, she was the one that was in college with the 2 boys, and they were, like, always filming it, like, almost like Blair Witch kinda style,
Yeah.
and, the boys end up dying, and she ends up going off, but she doesn't seem to be killing humans, she doesn't seem to be a problem. However, her sister went full wolf. So her sister was dying. She bit her to save her life, but her sister embraced the werewolf style and got high off all the power. Kate was willing to die for her sister, and they realized that. Like Sam and Dean were like, "Wait, you want us to kill you? What's going on?" But sadly, in the end, she ends up stabbed. She did one of those, hug and stabs, like Jon Snow, Khaleesi style,
Yeah.
and then she
Which
dips out. And Dean even has a moment like, "Are we going after her?" And it's like, "Why? She doesn't cause problems all these years. She just
she
killed her
actually took care of
sister."
one of your
So
problems. Yeah. I mean,
yeah, so they end up, leaving her to be.
yeah, it's one of those filler episodes because this, that's what I like again about Supernatural is they hit you with a few solid, strong episodes to move the plot forward, but then they give you like these palate cleanser episodes, and this is one of them. And it also at the same time shows like early seasons, Dean would have absolutely gone after and killed her because of a werewolf. They can't trust her. But again, he's come to grow and
No, there's a gray area.
yeah,
Well,
there's
after
always
you have Benny, like, they've
yeah,
met
exactly.
so
They've gone
many
through so
people that
much.
yeah.
Like it's not every monster is bad. And some fun facts from this one is that there is a song and movie called Paper Moon. It seems like it's facades.
Facades.
Facades. Sorry, geez, I can talk. If they believed in each other, it would all be okay, even if it was fake. Only a paper moon sailing over a cardboard sea.
Cardboard sea, but it wouldn't be make believe if you believed in me. Nobody else's mom listened to that all the time.
No,
I
can't
think it was
say.
Natalie Cole.
Can't say honestly that they did, man. I
Sailing over a cardboard sea. Okay, that's gonna be stuck in my head all day. Uh, One of the things though about this being filler episode that I feel like is unique to Supernatural is they're able to have filler episodes without it messing up the storyline. Like there's so many
yeah.
times where you're just dragging things out unnecessarily, and for them, they're like, "I need to punch something. Let's just get a case." And so
Grr.
yeah, so and they'd still throw in moments that move the story forward. Oh, I still got to get rid of this mark, and whatever's going on that season, it's still addressed. But it was like we were able to watch Scooby Natural, and you haven't even gotten there in this current watch, and we watched it a year ago. So it's like
That's
that was
tough.
completely
That's right, I've been in this house
standalone.
now for a year. At this time last year, my stuff still was not delivered to me. I didn't have a
Oy,
house yet. I had a house, but no stuff. That's funny.
fun
Wow. Yeah, I
times.
really fell behind the curve. Jeez, woof. Sorry, guys. There's just Just a
It is
lot.
crazy. You're coming up on you started this January 2023.
Okay, well, maybe
I
I'm
think it's 15 seasons.
favoring it.
And
It
this is
is.
what I will
It's a
tell the
lot of
people who are
seasons, all
like,
right, man.
15
23
seasons,
episodes each.
that's a lot. Like, do it
They're
on your own
hour-long
time.
episodes, man.
They're 40 minutes, but do it on your own time.
They're 40 minutes, but, like, you gotta think of all the other things we watch in this, like, TV shows that are out in life.
No,
Like,
it's a
it's
lot.
hard. I don't and I'm very old. I fall
You're not
asleep
that old.
early, okay? It's hard
It's
for me to be
33.
awake, and the only times we get to watch stuff is maybe an episode or 2 before I
You're
fall
like,
asleep
I'm
on the
very
couch.
old. I'm like 8 years older than you.
Yeah, I don't have anything else for this episode, if you don't either.
No, well, so I had season 2 on the other day. I'll randomly put it on when I'm whatever. That's just my go-to if I have nothing to put on. I want something on. And they just went over, oh my gosh, I forget what case it was, but they were like, how many monsters have we killed that were good? And they're struggling with that. And it's interesting because now that's a very common thing, but they think back, they're like, we were always, oh, it was the vampire episode. It was the first vampire episode that Benny was on, but he wasn't Benny, he was Eli.
Oh, yeah,
And it
yeah.
was with Gordon. And so they're struggling with the fact that they may have killed innocent
Good.
monsters over the years because they were
Yeah.
taught everything was black and white. So it's nice to see, like, while they still struggle with that, it's nice to see the shift. Whereas before it was like no question about it and they're arguing over it. Now it's like, should we go after her? Well, why would we? Okay, yeah, good point.
Yeah, like, how far they've come, so yeah, it makes
Yeah.
sense. Now
And how far have they come on the road so far as we go into
speaking of, we are into the 200th episode now, fan fiction. The episode shouldn't need an introduction as it is a supernatural musical episode. The theater teacher is missing. The boys walk into their life via a musical, and it turns out it's Calliope. She interferes
Calliope,
when
not the
Calliope.
tulpa?
She interferes when someone is hurting the art, and then she eats the creator. So they must stop her because she is not a Dolpa. Success. They do. Yeah, I love me a good musical episode, and especially with like Jensen and Jared, they play it so well, and just seeing the fun. Like these are the fun episodes I really like. And the 200th, man, it's crazy. It's crazy when a show reaches 100, let alone 200 episodes, which is a huge
And they
milestone.
got to 327, man.
I so close to 4. Could have made it 4, but
I would be surprised if that show doesn't come back at some point because the actors
everybody seems to really want it to be
I know
involved
it
in
just
having it come
ended in
back.
2020 and like I feel like I regularly see questions and
Jensen
things at
wants to come back.
cons where they're
Yeah.
talking about it. Yeah.
And the fandom's not going anywhere. If anything, it's getting bigger too. So I mean, it's a
Well,
matter of time, especially as a
yeah.
CW is kind of a dying channel,
It's
like
not
with
the same that it used to be at all anymore. I don't know what it is now.
there's like I couldn't tell you a single show that's on the CW. It used to be superheroes and supernatural, and now they've canceled everything. So
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you a single thing. So honestly, I would even
Okay, I
be
couldn't
cool. Like
either.
Jensen seems to have a pretty good relationship with WB because he voices Batman and everything.
He's on Prime now.
Oh, true. That's another shop it out. Oh, well, actually, they might
Well,
actually would do Prime because Kripke
yeah.
is pretty
Well,
in
and
bed
his
with Prime.
company, I just realized we're like both above. If you're watching on YouTube, we're both above like our like emojis.
We are, yeah.
That's so funny. Okay. Um, well, his company that him and his wife started, they're doing One Tree Hill on Netflix. So it could even come to, I would just love to see Supernatural in something where they could say more than bitch.
Well, that
It's
and
like,
like
because this is
maybe
a
make it a little
show.
bit more slashier, too.
Yeah, they
You
could
don't have to
actually,
look
and I mean,
away every time there's a blood splatter.
they did pretty slashery for CW. So I can't even imagine if they
True.
were given a little more freedom. But you just see they did a good job of occasionally bleeping out curse words, like when you had the ghost facers, or
Yeah,
even in
yeah.
Scooby Natural, they're like, fuck yeah, you do, or whatever to Fred. It's like, so that they like, who's
They're
not gonna
aware. It's
curse when
pretty
you're hunting
self-aware,
monsters?
yeah.
Yeah.
Especially
So and like
hunting monsters.
when they're like, screw you to a demon, that's like the dumbest shit ever. Even like I've been catching
Yeah.
up on Superman and Lois, and like they gave Lois cancer, and like she's done with her chemo or whatever, and she rings the bell and she's like, screw cancer, and they're all yelling, screw cancer. I'm like, this sounds so stupid.
Screw you,
But
pal.
all right, there's lots of fun facts in this one.
Yes, there is. So what are they?
So this title is simply because it's fan fiction for Carver Edlund's supernatural books. However, fun fact, Misha tweeted out a while ago that the amount of Destiel fan fiction that is out there like supersedes the amount of like any other fan fiction there is,
Yeah.
which I thought was hilarious. Dean makes fun of theater kids. Well, he actually was one. If you enjoy the songs, they are all on Spotify. I have them on my family business playlist. The girl playing Dean in the musical complains the reason she isn't wearing the amulet is that it keeps hitting her in the lips. Jensen Ackles himself hated the amulet because it was constantly hitting him in the face, and at one point it even chipped one of his teeth because he forgot to put the rubber one on before a fight scene. So that's why they wrote it out of the show, but obviously it does become relevant again in the future. So we find out. I don't know if you know what the amulet actually is yet.
I don't think so.
Okay, the boys don't know what it is at this point, but it has more of a relevance than Bobby just giving it to Sam to give to his dad, who then gave it to Dean.
Ah, okay.
Director Phil Segrisha, who we always see at the end of every episode of The Boys now, was very
Yes.
careful to not let the main cast hear the musical numbers before they film the scenes. So the first reactions you see from Sam and Dean are real. So Jared and Jensen both said that the cover of Carry On My Wayward Son was very moving for them.
Nice.
Sam tells Dean, other than the Charlie Kaufman of it all, I got nothing. And of course, he's referring to the playwright, Charlie Kaufman, who penned works of fiction starring real people in surreal situations, being themselves, such as Being John Malkovich, which is a crazy movie.
Yes.
This was only the second episode ever where only the monster died.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So-
I didn't even like notice that, I guess.
I never noticed it, but
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of cannon fodder in the show. So when Sam introduces himself as Agent Smith and Dean as Agent Smith, no relation, he is quoting Die Hard. I think I actually mentioned that on our Die Hard episode back when I was trying to convince you to watch this. And the last fun fact I have is when Dean looks at the camera after the Destiel explanation, that was Jensen going off script. So it goes from Dean to Jensen. And I love that they kept that in. That's amazing.
Well, I know you have some thoughts. What are your thoughts on this episode? I enjoyed it. I love all the little head nods and the fun. It's just a fun episode.
Yeah, it's one of those episodes that you're watching it and you're like, almost like when you're watching WandaVision, you're like, is this, am I really watching a Marvel show? Am I really watching a show about killing monsters? And they're like singing, riding in Dad's car, like, I'm Big Brother Dean. I know all the words. It's terrible. I got a Hugh Jackman reference, obviously. When Sam was defending the fact that he was a theater kid, like, Hugh Jackman was in Oklahoma and he's like, you ran tech, Wolverine. And my last thing is just I love that Dean is like sitting there like enthusiastically nodding to a song about how his mother was killed by demons.
Yeah, that was a good one. He's a little too happy about that.
Yeah, he's just like going to the
you would be too if your mom was Mary fucking Winchester.
Well, he didn't know she was terrible then. He was only 4 when she died.
I know. Well, this next episode, man, this is a throwback. Ask Jeeves. How many of you out there remember the good old Ask Jeeves? It was Google before Google was Google.
I didn't know if you were going to know it, actually.
Oh, I used Ask Jeeves. Oh, yeah. I know some Ask Jeeves. Like I said, had that guy and yeah. So the boys have a message on their phone for Bobby. They're thinking it's going to be some inheritance, but what they discover is that Bobby helped some last who had a shapeshifter kid and she died. So her estate notified Bobby, who is obviously dead. So the boys show up. Deaths begin to happen. They, however, cannot leave. Some rich drunk ladies keep hitting on them. And it turns out that the shifter's kid has been locked in the attic and now she is killing everybody. The butler was aware the whole time because it is always the butler clue. And so they should have just asked Jeeves.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
So this is a fun one, but it's nothing like super exciting. So some fun facts are this was a very clue-centric episode and there are a lot of references to it. You can even see the game in the attic. Later that year that this came out, Supernatural...
Hence it was the butler!
With the candlestick in the kitchen.
Damn it!
So a Supernatural Collector's Edition of Clue actually was released later that year.
Oh, really? I didn't know they had that game. That would have been cool to play.
Yeah, better than Monopoly.
Probably Monopoly. So expensive now because I've never seen it in the wild, but...
Yeah, well, maybe they'll have it at I bet they have it like cons and stuff.
They probably do, you're right.
I'm not big on board games unless it's trivia.
Same, actually, yeah.
Butler says Colette went to Clown College in Sarasota, Florida. This is real. So there are clown schools there and museums, and it used to be like a winter home for Barnum and Bailey Circus. And if you ever do get down there, it's near Calusa Brewing, which has some of the best beer ever.
Calusa's great, but as if Florida couldn't get any weirder.
There's actually a reference, I think, to the Clown College in season 15 too in Sarasota. I believe it's something like Cass is down there working on a case with somebody.
A clown college. That's terrifying. I don't know how else to describe that other than it being terrifying.
I've seen some of the yeah, they have things like a nods to it and whatnot. I don't know. So Dean calls Philip the butler various different things. He calls him Alfred. He calls him Mr. Belvedere. He calls him Jeeves. He calls him Wadsworth. So Dean knows a lot of famous butlers.
Okay. All right.
That's what I got.
Wadsworth. Yeah. Like I said, Clue, man. That was my biggest thing is like it's always the butler. I enjoyed the connections to things like that while also still being like a pretty serious episode overall. And from there, I like this next one because it's girls, girls, girls. Turner, obviously, it's named after the song by Motley Crue. That's your fun fact for this episode. And this is Rowena. Dean is online dating, which obviously means he meets a very nice girl. They go to get down to business. She's got her socks on. That means it's business. It's business time. Have you ever heard that by Fly the Concords?
I was gonna say no, but I know the Let's Get
Oh,
Down to Business. To
there's a
defeat
song by Fly the
the
Concords where he's
Huns.
talking about things like his wife does, where he's like, she puts her socks on. That's how I know, like, it's business. It's hilarious. You have to
What?
listen to it. Yes. You'll have to just search like business
Socks
time, Fly the
on.
Concords. Trust me, it's
Your feet
hilarious.
would get so hot.
Yeah, gross. Anyways, Dean's very much more attractive than she is. So he's
I
punching
agree.
downwards. And so, anyways, she tells him he has to sign something before they do the deed. It's basically a contract for a soul because some demons are running a brothel and have some forced prostitution going on. Listen, anything to make a buck in the demon world, all right?
I mean, that's a pretty smart idea. Like, oh,
Yeah.
you can do it. It's just gonna cost your soul.
And
What even is a
obviously,
soul, baby?
you don't need a soul. Like, I'd sell my soul if it meant like Aubrey Plaza at this point. Have you seen her in Agatha? Oh my lord. There was like an ASMR thing even where she was licking a knife. And I was like, I don't know why, but this is doing things to me. And if she asked right then and there to sign my soul away, I'd be like, all right, cool. Do you want
I'll
to use that
burn in
knife?
hell for
Like,
eternity for this.
all right, like that, worth it. Dean catches them because he was obviously trying to hook up with one of the hookers. They find the brothel. This is when Rowena shows up first, and she really goes to town on the demons, but not in the way you're thinking. She obviously fucks them up and beats them up and kills them, but not out of the kindness of her heart. She recruits two of the girls, and that's when girls just want to have fun. Since Rowena takes care of the demons, the boys start hunting the witch. But Cole returns. He gets in the way when Dean has Rowena. However, the demons get Rowena, and we learn she is then Crowley's mother. That's right. That's
I love
right.
that.
Now,
Mother.
what is
That's
the
how that
side
episode
story in
ends.
this episode?
Mother. Hannah continues to be hitting on Cass, who wants nothing to do with it. She eventually lets the human back inside of her because she used the credit card. Her husband, the vessel's husband, tracked him down and was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And she said
Yeah.
she could feel the human inside of her, like screaming that she wanted to go home. She wanted her life back. So she ends up letting the human go, and so Hannah goes back to heaven. This leaves Cass to actually Google Jimmy Novak, and then he sees that Jimmy Novak is listed as missing, and it makes him think of Claire. So there's some
Yeah.
foreshadowing there.
There is. Yeah. I mean, they were on their whole thing, and she was obviously hot for Cass, and then that's when like he finds them, and it does show that there are real consequences. Like we see so many people getting their bodies taken over or killed or what have you, and we never really see the collateral from that until really
Yeah,
this
occasionally
episode
we
in a
do, but
way.
it's not. Yeah,
No,
it's
it's
very
not to the
quick
point where you
stabby
see.
stab.
Yeah, exactly. And this one kind of really shows like, no, these are real people, real lives. They had a whole life before these angels just decided to like, hey, I'm taking over you. And which is kind of cool. And then I do,
And yeah, Cass made a promise to Jimmy.
yeah, I I enjoy this as well. We have the same enjoyment out of this, and that Dean has a very strict code. No cash for ass. Uh
But
yeah, that's
but after he sold his soul in the very first episode of season 4, Sam's in the car and Bobby calls and Dean's inside, I think with 2 girls. And Bobby asks, "What's Dean doing?" And Sam says, "Polling the electorate," which is Simpsons for he's with a prostitute. So I
well,
guess it's okay when you just sold your soul,
I
which he did not
guess.
do in this.
But I also like I get it, man. Like, okay.
He doesn't need to
Um
pay for sex.
I well, first of all, he doesn't. He's a very beautiful man. Like, let's be honest. Okay. Number two, like, I am always firmly in that. you would never need to pay for things in life, such as porn or a hooker or things, unless you're one of those people who really cannot get a date, cannot hook up with anybody. So how about instead of strangling women on the streets, you go ahead and you pay for that hooker, sir? Okay. Like,
That's fair.
that's the only time I feel like it's very, very much you should do it. But yeah, no, this was another solid episode. I didn't realize Rowena was Crowley's mom at that point. I didn't know who she was other than Rowena was somebody important.
We don't
And
know until
then,
the end of that episode where he goes, mother.
yeah, well, that's what, yeah. I mean, you knew,
Oh,
I
so
didn't
that
know.
wasn't spoiled for you, is what you're saying.
No, it wasn't spoiled for me
Good.
somehow. And so
I
I
try
thought
not
like
to spoil things. It does get hard, but I really do try not to.
probably spoiled so many things that I just never paid
In the
attention to.
past,
And
before you watched the show, I definitely did.
yeah.
But since you started watching it, I try not to. But like you're about to meet somebody that I'm excited for you to meet, and I cannot wait for you to meet the person
Oh,
that
it's
shows
like
up
I
in
haven't.
13.
Oh, and 13. I am on like the last episode of season 12. I don't know. I haven't watched the finale yet. What am I doing?
I don't know. What are you doing? Oh God. Oh my
Well, the
God.
problem is like Penguin's out and Agatha's out and Only Murders is out.
Ooh,
Like I can't
and
balance my time properly.
Agatha has the demon that's trying to take Kelly's baby.
Mephisto. Oh.
Mephisto.
No, it's not Mephisto. Okay. Anyways,
Dad,
moving on
dad,
to
dad,
episode
dad,
8.
Devon.
Hibbing 911. It's a cop convention. Oh boy. Jody is not happy to be there. That's when she meets Donna. Weird deaths have begun to happen. They then learn that the sheriff is hosting it. The sheriff is a vampire, and the
Wears a
boys
lot of
then show up.
sunscreen.
Jody ends up giving Donna the talk, as when she was part of the fish taco case, they kept her in the dark. So they think Sheriff is a bad guy. However, it turns out he leaves and left a group of vampires, went legit. They were not happy with that. The sheriff then dies. Donna saves the day. Welcome to the Hunter Club, Donna.
She's like Hakuna. There's a couple Lion King references. Like they use the whole buffalo. It's a circle of life. She's like Hakuna Matata. Like when Donna kills the lady, she's like Hakuna Matata this or something.
Yeah, well, I like that. Like, basically, if your name's Donna, you're going to get in part of the club. You're going to be either the doctor's companion or you're going to be one of the boys, hunters.
So the name is obviously a nod to Reno 911, which is on Comedy Central for
Never watched
years.
that, to be honest.
I've seen clips of it, but I never watched it.
I've seen clips, but yeah.
It's really funny. There's one scene in it where what's the blonde cop? She's in Bridesmaid and she's the mom in Goldbergs and stuff. She's really funny.
Oh, yeah. I forget her name, but yeah, I know who you're talking about.
So yeah, she is one of the cops, and there's this video from the show where she stops some guy for a DUI, and she's making the guy do a DUI test and everything, and then she goes, "Okay, I want you to do this," and she goes, "Pas de bourrée, sidestep, whatever," and she does a little pirouette, and the guy does it all, and she's like, "Oh, are you a dancer?" He's like, "Nah, I'm just drunk," and she's like, "Ah," and he's like, "Ah." And every now and then, every few years, like I will see that be shared, and people think it's a real cop video that like they really busted this guy for a DUI for it, and like you'll see people in the comments like this was Reno 911, but
so,
it's
oh my
filmed
gosh.
like it looks like legit dash cam.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
All right, so
I do love that.
Address Sheriff Donna traces on the notepad with a pencil is 424 Cripple Creek Drive, a reference to the song Up on Cripple Creek by the band whose song The Wait actually plays as Dean and Sam turn into the parking lot of the lodge. Jensen has done a cover of this with Jason Manns, God and Lucifer, and Gabriel. So this is also on Spotify.
All right.
They do a really good job. It's very fun. Star, who was the young girl, she was the evil vampire, is the name of one of the vampires in The Lost Boys. The fantastic vampire movie from back in the day with the saxophone player.
That stupid, sexy, pointless saxophone player that has no business ever being in that movie. But for some reason, somebody was like, yeah, we really need a sax player on this one. And so there you go.
He's the star of the movie. Let's not deny it.
Listen,
he's the star of Lost Boys. Sorry, Kiefer Sutherland.
How many times have you seen that clip versus anything else from that movie? People predominantly
that's true. Yeah.
remember that specific clip of the sax player more than any other thing from that movie.
And that guy was at Spookala with his saxophone last year.
Oh my God.
So one of the cool things I wanted to mention, so we have had Ryan Curtis on here more than once. He did visual effects on Supernatural, and he had a YouTube series about beer, and the main character in the YouTube series was the sheriff vampire. So I do wonder if they met on set, and that's how he ended up casting him for his YouTube beer series.
Oh, interesting.
I always see that guy and I think of Santa Claus too, because he's at the beginning name of Santa Claus too.
Yeah,
So that's all I got for Hibbing 911. That is episodes 1 through 8 of season 10 of
that's
Supernatural.
we did 1 through 8. Now we will continue more because we're going to break it up
On
a
the
little bit
road
at
so
a time.
far.
Yes, we will continue our journey through Supernatural with the next episodes, which will be 9 through 16. Stay tuned for that. As always, make sure you follow us, like, subscribe, share, all of the good stuff. Let us know what your favorite episodes might have been from this part of the season. It's a very good season. Obviously, you know it's good because I happen to remember a lot of what has happened this season. And
Oh,
if you've
that
watched
is
some of
true.
our other stuff, your boy's memory sometimes is not the best. But you know what? I think I've done a pretty good job. Just saying, folks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Finally catching on. Aside from that, we have some fun things coming up. The way that you can follow along is by subscribing, especially to our YouTube, where we go live on Cantina Hours weekly. We're going to be talking Agatha, for example. We've got Patreon movie nights we do, which is Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island is going to be the October one that I believe was unanimously voted on. Lots of good stuff coming up. Thanks for hanging out with us and supporting the show. We will see you guys soon. Bye, you son of a bitch.